Transfer patient. And where from? No. Must have been one of those institutions that have since closed their doors, turned their backs on these communities. Please forgive me, I haven't seen many of you lately in my time. Please mind my manners. My name is Dr. Charlotte Graves. And yours? It's a little interesting, isn't it? No, I haven't heard that for a couple decades, if you will. Now tell me, I've been told that you are a transfer patient from out more the East Coast, is that correct? And tell me, what is the reason that you have transferred here? I see. Oh no, it's not that. I've seen quite a few melancholiacs in my time, and, well, I suppose. Well, nothing is out of my hands, so I believe that yes, I can treat you, my dear. Tell me, how are you feeling today? Relatively. Particularly dreadful. And how long have you been in an institution, if you will? Right, I haven't had any kind of papers on you, anything of the sort, no files, no history. I don't know anything about you, my dear. Okay. In and out for a few years now. Well, not to worry. We treat all sorts here, and you'll fit right in. I can tell you that for sure. Now, I've not properly introduced myself. I am the alienist of this institution. That's correct, I am the superintendent. I hail from the English countryside, but I was asked to be the superintendent of this institution after my father passed away. It was in his claim. For that reason, I am the only heir of his line, and that is why it went to me. This building was erected in 1846. It was one of the first Kirkbride asylums that were erected. Now, if you're not familiar with what a Kirkbride plan asylum is it is a tiered sort of asylum, if you will. You have your main building, and then you have two buildings offset back, and then two more offset back from that. Right. Works very well for the ventilation, for the bright air and sun. Yes, well, it is said that our people, and that's what I call them, as they are of us, they are not some kind of outcast or alien, if you will. Now, with these Kirkbride plan buildings also comes with a moral duty to our, while I don't like this term, our lunatics, our residents of this asylum. We have a duty to treat them much more humanely than they have been these last few years. Am I right? Yes, a little bit. So, melancholiac, Well, here in this institution, I have seen everything from acute and chronic mania melancholiacs such as yourself, a number of hysterics, which I particularly like under my wing, as it seems that anything that goes against the woman's husband or family has been deemed hysteria, when in fact most of these very well-bred women, if I do say so myself, are actually nothing more than just a little bit more outspoken than I believe their place has deemed them. So I find myself to be in more of a safe house position, especially as we employ and house quite a bit of paupers and many of the poor, a lot of different developmentally disabled people as well. We're absolutely great company if you get to know them. We also have a couple people with the name has been now said to be dementia praecox. These people, we keep them in a special wing, right? And we keep them very active. So you won't have to worry about them. Sometimes people don't understand what they're going through, and unfortunately in these times we don't know what we don't understand, and vice versa. People are very afraid of what they don't understand. However, all of these people I have found to be in very good company, and there's not a single person that I keep here that I believe to be dangerous to anyone else around them, so you don't have to worry there. Now, my dear, as we are a humane sort of facility, as I don't believe in drugging people to a near stupor and subjecting them to all sorts of very inhumane tests, if you will. While we do still have the means to do certain procedures such as rotational therapy, we tend not to do that, as well as hydrotherapy. I find that our patients seem to, for lack of a better word, decline quite rapidly after these sort of treatments, and personally, in my own philosophy, I do not feel that reducing these people to their animalistic urges to try to piece back together their civil mind and animal mind doesn't seem quite right to me, and many times you will make a beast of a man for doing that. So I would rather much have a happier sort of lunatic than a miserable man. So we do employ a slight bit of sedation, if you will. However, this is only when it is very gravely needed, and we have been moving away from using chloral of hydrate because we have found that using peraldehyde gives us the same effects, and while we don't have to increase the doses of either of them, the peraldehyde has a lot less coarse side effects, but does the same sort of thing. So I think that we have been seeing a vast improvement in the quality of life for our patients that we do have to sedate. Another thing that we have been sort of moving towards is there's been a man named Freud that I've been hearing of, and he has been employing the old sort of mesmerism from the past century. Yes, you've heard of it? Yes, well, it's not that sort of animal magnetism that quack had proposed, but it is something that I believe they're calling hypnosis that we have been slowly working towards using. I find that it has been working quite a bit for our more energetic patients in calming them down. But most of all, we like to make sure that our patients are kept relatively happy considering their place. But there are all sorts of little domestic jobs for each and every person, whether it be farming or keeping the grounds, and we also employ a lot of the women and the men, I suppose, in the kitchen. And there are quite a few of our patients that work with the laundry and sort of helping to keep the place clean. We are a very self-sufficient lunatic asylum, if I do say so myself. Now, in addition to us reducing the use of chlorohydrate, which really, if we do use it, it's only really 10 to 20 grains of it. I'm not sure. Okay. Yes, upwards of 20 grains had been sort of the norm. I imagine you know that quite well. So, we've been moving down to half a dram of formaldehyde for when we do need to use it. Also, I imagine that since you are one of the melancholiacs, you have maybe experienced a little bit of the use of cocaine. Am I correct? Yes. Well, cocaine is a dangerous plaything for the alienist and my nurses as well. It seems that while it does energize our melancholiacs, it brings a lot more harm than good afterwards. But when we do need to use it, which is very occasionally, we do have amyl nitrate, which has been shown to be an antidote and rouses our melancholiacs from their cocaine stupor within a few minutes, I believe. I think it's 4 to 5. As well, we do not stock much opium. We try not to use too much of it, and if we do use it, it never exceeds half a grain. Maybe 3 times a day for those that really need it, half a grain each dose. So, my dear, enough about me and my facility. I'm going to do just a very brief examination of you, as I have no case file of you, and we are going to have to start something completely new, if that's okay. Is there anything of note that I should know about maybe your hereditary characteristics, advantages, disadvantages? I was not told what family you came from, although you look quite a healthy specimen to me. Okay, alright, I do know of that family. I suppose I did hear of their child that was taken away some years ago, but I'm pleased to make your acquaintance now, and I promise that I'll treat you much kinder than your family did. So, dear, let me just look at the coloring of your skin, pallor, paleness, smidge. You're not much paler than many of my melancholiacs. Really, you're not nearly on par as my patients with dementia praecox as well. Yes. Alright. If you don't mind, I'm going to take a look at your eyes. Okay. I apologize for the discomfort. Okay. No, it doesn't look like much jaundice, which is good. I do worry about the livers of you melancholiacs with these sorts of medicines that they do have you on. Although really, with how much chlorohydrate I imagine you've had, I would worry more about your heart. Right. Yes, there is a bit of blue sclera, but I would have thought much worse. you don't mind sticking out your tongue for me. Right, I just want to take note of the texture and the coloring. Quite a bit of bite marks I see along the edge there. Sort of dry. Okay. How much do you eat on a regular basis? Once a day regularly. And did the previous institution put you through a nasal tube? No, it's not pleasant at all. No. We really do not like to use that either. I think I only have one set of tubing for that purpose, while most institutions have several. We try not to use it at all. Okay. You mind if I look at your nasal passages then? Yes, there is slight bruising, but I believe that will heal. It looks quite healed. Anyway. Okay, I'm going to take one last look. Okay. Yeah, a little dry. So, as it is getting nearer to the spring and summer, I believe we're going to have you working outside. Hopefully that humidity will perk up the dryness that you seem to be experiencing quite a bit. You mind if I see your hands real quick? I would like to just take your pulse. Yes. Okay, hold out your elbows. I'm going to press into the crease of your elbows. And the other one. Quite strong. Alright. Perfect. Yes, as I said before, we were more worried about the health of your heart, but I believe that you have quite a strong pulse. I'm going to feel the top of your chest. Good. Alright. Now, as I said before, I did inherit this practice from my father, and my family does hail from quite a long line of those in the medical profession. However, alienism has only been the past couple generations. And yes, so although I am of the female persuasion, doesn't mean that I don't know what I'm doing. And actually, my father recommended I be superintendent of this institution anyway, just simply that he didn't feel that really I would be suitable out in society, which is the reason that we moved to America anyway. It's a little more, not higher class, but my sort of flavor is not welcome so much. If you couldn't tell. But my father had better business than to control what I did. And I don't have to worry about suitors running around and trying to act like a prim little lady for them. No, I have my place, and it is with all of you. Do you mind if I take your hand once more? Slight tremor. Did you happen to play any instrument? Any sort of piano, or maybe drawing? Right. Yes, I found that our previous hobbies or interests, if they are impeded by some other force that we can't control. For example, you have a slight tremor, and I imagine that you can't play or draw or anything with your hands so much anymore, am I right? Yes. Well, my dear, we keep a very well-tuned piano, and I would like you to start playing. Right. I don't care how dreadful you think your playing is, but I feel that you should start again. Even with the tremors, yes. I'm sure the company will not mind whatsoever. We are sort of a musical building. There's always musical playing. Musicals, rather. Yes, when we lose our means to play or to draw, that leads to an onset of the melancholia. But I think maybe we can alleviate some of those symptoms once we get you back to your old routine. Let me just feel the top of your forehead. Alright, you are a little cold, my dear. A little sluggish, a little lethargic. Alright. So I assume that my nurses have told you which room you will be staying in. Correct. We do have all of our melancholiacs that are in one wing of the building, and our mania patients are on the other side, so they don't generally meet too much. I find that the mania can be quite overwhelming for a lot of our more lethargic patients. Right. Everybody is sorted into their respective groups. Now, you may come and go as you please within the building, so long as there are nurses around. We keep a small enough building that we don't need too many nurses and there isn't too much overcrowding. The grounds are free to roam so long as you're in the company of either another patient or one of the nurses are in your sight, okay? We aim to keep everybody safe here and really as happy as possible. Now I will get started on this case file. I will be working with you closely the next few days. That's alright. We will get something drawn up for you, and I feel that with the way that we have met today, that you have a very, very high outcome of making a full recovery. I do. No, believe me, your family will be quite surprised. I imagine that they didn't think you'd be coming back out, but I live to surprise, and I live to rehabilitate. So, my dear, I'm going to have one of my nurses escort you to your room. You may get settled in, and you may wander the grounds, meet other people. And if you need anything, just let me know. As we only have a few hundred patients here, I am quite accessible to all of those that need me. You do know where my office is, correct? Alright, I'll have my nurse show you. Yes, dear. Well, you have a very pleasant evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Very pleasant to meet you.